family around my deathbed. I know not when Allah will call me home. The life I led, oh what a blessed thing. As death comes to me, these words I will sing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Wa man ittaba'a hudahu ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd, my dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, we continue our topic, O Muslim youth, be serious. We mentioned in the last episode, which comes under as a piece of advice, and we carry from there inshallah. What will help us inshallah to strengthen the iman and become more active and more committed is also the ilm, attending study circles. So every brother and sister should allocate a slot on a weekly basis, on the weekend at least, on the weekend. There should be a slot allocated on daily basis, half an hour or 1 hour a day, to read at home on Islam. So you learn your deen. But on the weekends you go and attend the study circles in the masjids, or you go to one of the scholars in his home and you learn the Islam, because the true knowledge only can be taken when you go and sit on your knees in the circles of the ulama. That's how you will get the real knowledge. So attend the study circles weekly, and you have to commit yourself. Also, qiyam al-layl, praying at night. We need to train ourselves to get up at night and pray. At least you start half an hour before the Fajr, 2 rak'ahs, to train yourself, because this is how you boost your spirituality, this is how you build up your iman. The qiyam al-layl. Qiyam al-layl, as the Prophet ﷺ said, sharaf al-mu'min, it is an honor. It's the honor of the mu'min is to pray at night. And he said about Abdullah ibn Umar, what a pious Muslim, were he to stand and pray the night, because he was not praying tahajjud, Abdullah ibn Umar. After that, when he heard this, his sister Hafsa told him that the Prophet praised you, but he said the only one thing he is not doing, and that's qiyam al-layl. He said, after that, I never left it. So qiyam al-layl kana da'b al-salihin. It was the habit and something habitual practice in their life. Da'b al-salihin, qiyam al-layl, standing, praying at night, shedding the tears. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, the righteous, كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون. They hardly sleep most of the night. Qaleel, they sleep little at night. And bil ashar, just before the Fajr, they are crying and begging Allah, yastaghfirun, making istighfar, seeking Allah's forgiveness. This is the reality of the righteous. These are the righteous and the pious ones. But if someone doesn't get up for Qiyam al-Layl, he is neglecting and ignoring his soul, he will soon feel this voidness, vacuum inside him, and he will start feel unhappy. But if he is taking care of his soul, this will keep him moving, keep him active, producing, because the soul is the one that drives this body. Also, remain in the masjid after Fajr prayer till the sun rises above the horizon, and you pray 2 rak'ahs. The first thing every Muslim man has to pray in the masjid, all the 5 prayers, and the Fajr in particular. You know what? The most difficult prayers are 2 prayers. The Fajr, because you have to get up and leave your bed and leave the warmth of the bed, and in winter take wudu, cold water. It's not easy, but the reward is so great. And the second prayer, which is difficult also, is the Asr. the middle prayer, Salatul Wusta. Because someone comes maybe from office tired, or he just had his lunch, so he wants to take a nap. And these two prayers are witnessed. Witnessed, that means the angels. There are two shifts of angels. Some they spend the day with us, some they spend the night with us. And they leave us in the Fajr. That's how the shifts are. They keep shifting, changing the shifts. Asr time and Fajr time. So the Fajr Salah in the masjid, when you pray, stay in the masjid. Don't leave the masjid immediately. Still sit down, making your dhikr slowly, with concentration, and reading the Quran till the sun rises above the horizon. Then pray 2 rak'ahs. See what the Prophet ﷺ said. من جلس في مصلاه يذكر الله حتى تطلع الشمس. حتى تطلع الشمس كتبت له حجة وعمرة تامة تامة تامة. And the hadith is authentic. It is in Sahih al-Tarhib wa-Targhib by Imam al-Mundhiri, authenticated by our Shaykh Albani, rahimahullah ta'ala. So if you stay in the masjid after the salah till the sun rises, then you pray 2 rak'ahs. It will be written for you the reward of Hajj and Umrah. Can you imagine? You get the reward of Hajj and Umrah every day. Every day, Hajj and Umrah, because of these 2 rak'ahs. Also, staying in the masjid between Maghrib and Isha. Maghrib and Isha, we stay in the masjid. We don't come out. Stay in the masjid, unless there is something urgent. And the Sahaba, they used to pray between the Maghrib and the Isha. And they used to count and consider that part of Qiyam al-Layl. So between Maghrib and Isha, you can pray as many rak'ahs as you like. As you like. Now, how to become serious? So this is the piece of advice. Now, how to become serious? First of all, we have to guard Allah's limits and stop whoever wants to trespass them. Remember that Islam, the whole deen of Islam, is about rights and limits. There are rights and there are limits. These limits, they are set up by Allah. The one who put the limits is the Creator. He tells me, lower your gaze. He tells me, lower your gaze. Don't look to the unlawful, at this woman or that woman, because they are not your wives. وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze and protect their private parts. وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُمْ. And tell the believing women also to lower their gaze and to protect their private parts. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us from all types of evils. My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll be back inshallah after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters and dear viewers, welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the piece of advice, and now we want to know also how to become serious. And the first thing that one has to do is that we have to always guard Allah's limits and sanctify the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the law of Allah Azza wa Jal, and not to cross them. And not only that, we defend these limits. These limits, we have to defend them and stop anyone who wants to violate the law of Allah or wants to trespass and cross the boundaries. This is the duty of every Muslim. The duty of every Muslim, male or female. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the authentic hadith, "Man ra'a minkum munkara falyughayyirhu biyadihi, فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. Whoever sees an evil act, something abominable, should change it with his own hand. If he cannot or she cannot, with his tongue or her tongue. If he or she cannot, then with the heart. And we need to really elaborate here upon this beautiful hadith. First of all, you see something wrong, you don't keep quiet, you don't say mind your own business, it's none of your business. No. In Islam, it is my business to mind your own business, and it is your business to mind mine. You see me doing something wrong, you tell me, brother, fear Allah, stop it. That's why Allah says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Allah is swearing by time, by the token of time. And then He said, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Verily, man is in great loss. إِلَّا, there is an exception here. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those who believe and do righteous deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. They advise each other regarding the truth, the haqq. They keep reminding each other to remain steadfast on the truth. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And they advise each other. And tawasaw, this is mutual, both sides. You advise me, I advise you. Bisabr, that we have to be patient, because there are a lot of adversities we'll face in the way. So if someone wants to trespass and cross the limits, we stop him. So the Prophet ﷺ said, you stop him or her with your hand. If you have the authority, if you are authorized, entitled. If you cannot, then the second level, because you enjoin what is right and you forbid what is evil. So it is part of the deen to forbid the evil and to help each other to do more righteous deeds. So if you cannot change it with your hand, then with your tongue. Talk about it. Talk about the evil. Warn the people. Educate the people. Tell them, no, this is wrong. Tell the truth. This is what we are doing. And the students of knowledge, and the people of knowledge, and the callers, the advocates, the da'is, are just talking about it, about the deen, explaining it, trying to defend Islam. And this is the second level. You can't do it with your hand. You just talk. Because the strife and the jihad has different levels. With the tongue, with the hand, with the pen, so there are different grades of strife and jihad against evil. Then the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, if you cannot change it with your hand or talk about it with your tongue, at least in your heart, you know this is something wrong, horrible, evil, shar. You hate it. You hate it in your heart. And you really abhor it in your heart. And what does it mean? It means that you don't do it. Not that you say, someone, for instance, is doing something, we call it munkar, haram, evil, drinking alcohol. I cannot say, I hate it in my heart while I am having a conversation with him. Sitting with him and he's taking his alcohol and I'm talking to him. I cannot. Islam forbids me, because this is something horrible, something evil. That's why Islam says about the alcohol, khamr, don't come near to it. Not don't drink it, don't come near to it. The Prophet ﷺ says, and if there is khamr, liquor, served on any table and you are sitting there, you are sinful. You are sinful. You bring upon yourself Allah's anger. So don't tell me that I hate this munkar and evil in my heart and you sit with the person. No. If you really hate it in your heart, you will not sit with him in the first place. You will not go to party where it's free mixing, men and women, and you say, I hate it in my heart. No. You don't hate it in your heart. You are cheating yourself. You approve of it. You sanction it by your participation. Being there, that means you approve of it. You accept it. If you hate it, you will not go. So we should understand what the Prophet ﷺ meant when he said, you hated it by your heart. That means you don't do it. And you fear Allah to your best, because your heart, no one knows what is in it except Allah, your creator. So you hate it and you don't do it. And no one will arrive to know what is there in your heart. So that is number one. Guarding the limits set by Allah, and stop whoever tries to cross the limits. Number two, dedication to the learning. We have to dedicate and allocate time for learning the deen. The deen. Because without the knowledge, without the ilm, we cannot worship Allah correctly. We will not enjoy the ibadah. We will not taste that sweetness, the sweetness which you feel it in your heart, because there is a real sweetness. ذاق حلاوة الإيمان من رضي بالله ربا بالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. So there is a sweetness. Indeed, he has tasted the iman, the one who accepts Allah as a Rabb, his Lord, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his messenger, and Islam as his way of life. So there is a sweetness, my dear brothers and sisters. But this sweetness, you will not taste it till you really dedicate and learn al-Islam. So we need to dedicate ourselves to this deen, to learning the deen, practicing the deen, spreading the deen, taking the deen to those who are still in the dark, those who are waiting for someone to come to them and give them a hand and bring them out of the darkness into the light. That is really your duty, my dear brothers and sisters. We Muslims, by Allah, are responsible before Allah. Wallahi, the burden that has been placed on our shoulders is so heavy. Our neighbors, millions and millions of people on that day will say, oh Allah, oh our Lord, oh our Creator, he was my neighbor, he was my friend, he was my colleague, he never taught me, he never spoke to me, he never told me anything about Islam. Because on the day of resurrection, on that day, everyone just wants to escape, and he will give any excuse. So that's why it is our duty as Muslims to take this rahmah, this light, this guidance to the entire humanity. And it's up to them to accept it or reject it. We don't force anyone. We just present it. And it is their choice whether to accept or reject. May Allah guide those who are sincere and those who are in the dark to the truth. Ameen. So dedication to learning your deen. Number three, strive hard to get the highest rank in the Jannah. See, the Prophet ﷺ tells us in one beautiful hadith in Bukhari, he said, فإذا سألتم الله فاسألوه الفردوس الأعلى. When you ask Allah for Jannah, ask Him for the Firdaus, because it is the highest place in the Jannah, and from there, from the Jannah, Firdaus, flows the rivers of the Jannah. So the rivers of the Jannah, they emerge from the Al-Firdaus. So what does this hadith mean? That you ask Allah the Firdaus because that is the highest level, which means that you should work hard and strive hard, because you are raising the power, raising the target. So if my target is that high, then I will work hard. For instance, if someone wants to go to Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, that is his goal, he has to work hard and struggle and get distinctions. to reach there. A student, before the final, he says to himself, I want distinctions. I want to get A plus, not less than A plus. So what he has to do, that is his goal. So he has to work to achieve it. So he has to study hard. But if he lowers the power and he says, I really just want to pass. As long as I will pass the test, that's fine. The one who says, I want to have distinction, A plus, keep this in mind, if he will work hard to achieve that, and if he didn't get A plus, distinction, he will at least have A or A minus or B plus. Because he'll be almost there because of the efforts he put. But if someone says, I just want to pass the test, the likelihood and the chance for him to fail is so high because he will not work hard. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ saying, your aim and goal and objective is the Firdaus. So if you didn't get to Firdaus, you're next to the Firdaus. So you are in the Jannah. But if someone says, I just want to enter the Jannah, that's it. So the chance for him to go to hell is high. Someone who wants the Firdaus will work hard for it. But if you're saying, yes, I want to enter the Jannah, you'll be lazy and you'll not work hard. And the chance is high that you might end up, may Allah save all of us from the blazing fire. So that is what the Prophet ﷺ meant. And finally, one has to be engaged in the da'wah activities. Being engaged in the da'wah, it motivates you, it builds up your iman, it protects you from all these evils, distractions and tendencies. Believe me. And you will learn, the da'wah in itself is a school, you will learn. And you will be building up your knowledge and you will be doing researches because you are now on the front line. And people are asking you and challenging you. So you will be forced to open the books and go and search, etc. And that's where you will build up your knowledge and that's how you will increase your commitment to the deen. May Allah Azza wa Jal use us as tools for guiding those who are seeking the truth sincerely. And may Allah Azza wa Jal shower His mercy on us. And may Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us our shortcomings and laziness and faults and sins. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen our iman and your iman. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us steadfast on the path of the truth. And may Allah Azza wa Jal raise us up on the day of resurrection in the company of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I am a Muslim, Islam I be.